So if you know your G major chord and your C major chord and your D major chord, and you got one of these and three of these, then you could probably play this. This is a country blues picking pattern, and it uses your thumb to play an alternate bass pattern like this. And so this is the G major chord, and I play it with these four fingers, and what I'm picking with my thumb is the 6th and the 4th strings. 6, 4, 6, 4, 6, 4, 6, 4. And this picking is on the 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 4th beats. 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're also going to do the same with the C major chord, using the thumb to pick on the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th beats. So let's change to the C major. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, so we're on the C major chord and we're picking now the 5th and 4th strings. 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, the A string and the D string. A, D, A, D, A, D. Now, for the D major chord, we're going to pick exactly the same two strings, the A and the D, and in exactly the same order. A, D, A, D. So let's change to the D major chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. So D major chord, A, D, A, D, A, D, and the thumb is still going. And it's still going strong. And one of the things about this country blues style type of picking is that the thumb is going to play the same thing over and over again. It's just going to play this alternate bass pattern, okay? And what's really important, and to get this right, you're going to really need to practice. Yeah, I know it's a bit of a dirty word sometimes, but playing this over and over again requires a lot of muscle memory, because it's going to be doing the same thing over and over again, and it's got to be independent of what these fingers are doing. So I really can't stress enough how much time you're going to need to put in with this part here. But the thing is, if you put the time in, and I know some people probably think it's really boring to practice just the thumb, the thumb, the thumb, the thumb. But the thing is, if you get it right, you'll get a really great sound, and you'll learn to get your thumb independent from your fingers, okay? Because there's a lot of picking patterns, I should say, that require you to use your thumb doing the same thing over and over again while the fingers do something else. And so repetition is so important here, and I can't recommend it enough. So we've had a quick look at the G, the C, and the D. Right, so we looked at those three chords, but what do your fingers actually do? Well, if you've noticed that my fingers are kind of here, right? They're kind of set up to get ready to play. And you'll see where the first finger is here. It's getting ready to play the 3rd string, the G string. My second finger is getting ready to play the B string, the 2nd string, and my 3rd finger is prepared to play the high E string, the 1st string. And just a word about my fingernails. So if you see my thumb and my fingers, we've got kind of quite long, I don't know if you can see that, there's quite long fingernails there, and they're not necessary, right? You don't have to have long fingernails, but I like the sound. I like the sound that they make, the sound of them hitting the strings. I do like it. So we're going to start just with the first finger, okay? So we've got the G major chord down, right? And so we get the pattern going. And let's keep it quite slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to add the first finger playing the G string on just the first beat of the bar. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like this. Right, now let's do the second finger playing the second string. Like that. Okay, now time to bring in the third finger. Okay, this is a nice introduction to the picking. Alright, now let's try half a bar with the first finger, half a bar with the second finger, and so on. So like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Just a half a bar of each. And now the second finger. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know about you, but I find that this quite hypnotic. Okay, now third finger doing exactly the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now let's try picking on all 4 beats. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because now what you're doing, you're also picking on the second and fourth beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's almost like a pincer, is that the right word? So you're kind of pinching the 2 strings together. And now let's do it with the second finger. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and now let's try with the third finger playing the high E string. And that, again, it's very, very repetitive, isn't it? It's incredibly repetitive, but it's something that you know, all guitarists have done. Really, they just practice and practice and practice. So you can also do that with the C major chord. So C major chord, thumb, first finger, second finger, oops, third finger, and you do that. Of course, we can go to the D major chord and practice it similarly. kind of, but not screwing up like that. And the thing is, when you practice a lot like this, and you know, I imagine that, well, I expect you to be doing it for at least 15 minutes every day, 15 minutes of just this even, and then maybe 15 minutes of just adding the first finger. But when you practice that, there's a couple of things I want to just mention here. Firstly, you know, your fingers are going to sting, okay, because you're holding down the chord here for quite a long time, so your fingers are going to sting, and maybe you'll have, you know, these kind of grooves in your hand, and I don't know if you can see them, but mine are quite deep. Must be quite a groovy person. And then there's also your picking hand. Now my thumb, just about here, again, I don't know if you can see that, I've developed quite a bit of a callus there. It's almost like a lumpy growth, but it's not a growth, it's just a bit of guitar practice. And also the fingers, the tips of my fingers, also kind of feel a little harder than this one here. This one's kind of soft compared to these three here. But that's kind of a normal thing. The other thing I will mention is how you're sitting and your posture, because, you know, if you're doing this over and over again and you're practicing doing this, getting the fingers, is that, you know, if you're not careful, you might get a very sore shoulder here. I mean, I know, because I've been playing quite a bit recently, and I get a bit sore there, and also my wrist as well can get a bit sore. So I would definitely recommend, when you're playing, take a bit of a break and shake it out. Okay, just shake it out, you know, do that a little bit so that you don't get too stiff. And because, you know, if you're really uncomfortable when you're practicing, it's going to ruin your practice session. So really take care of yourself while you're playing. Let's look at a pattern that we can play. We're going to focus on the G major chord. Let's look at a little pattern that we can do. And then we're going to look at a chord progression. And then we're going to talk about how we can play a couple of songs using this pattern. Because, you know, you can apply these little things into your real life, you know, and into songs that you love. So let's try this. Let's try this pattern here. There's the tab up there, you can see it. And again, it looks kind of complicated, doesn't it? But it's just, again, it's just these the patterns that you learn over and over again, just putting into a tune. And so this pattern here is just played over the G major chord, and it goes like this. It's quite nice, that, isn't it? Let's play that together, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. And again. That's really very, that's a beautiful thing to play. Whether it's fast or slow, I think it's absolutely incredible. And one thing that I used to have a problem with is, let me show you. I was always good here up to that point. But it's when I come to that bit there where I have to play the high E string. And the problem I used to have was because I didn't practice enough, because my thumb would follow that finger. My thumb would follow the finger and would try to play up here. Rather than doing that there, my thumb would follow that finger. So I would find myself doing this. See, and going up there. which is not really very bassy. So, you know, the reason why I recommend you practice and practice and practice, the thumb part is there so that you develop independence. So this thing here, this thumb here, becomes so independent of these three fingers here. Really, trust me, as I said, you know, you do it over and over again, it'll be worth your while. So let's have a go again at this G part here, and then we'll have a look at a pattern we can play for the C. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And again. Now, one of the reasons why I like playing this shape G major chord with these fingers here, 4, 3 and 2, is because when I change to the C major chord, it's very close, right? The C major chord, look at that, there's hardly very much movement. Now, I know a lot of people play the G major like this, or with 4 fingers, but then going from G to C, or from C to G back again, is quite difficult, and that can affect when you change from G to C when you're playing this pattern, and you end up having some kind of something like that because you're trying to get over and back again. So I really would recommend try playing G like this. I think it's much better personally, and it makes it a much easier change from G to C, and also G to G7 as well, and G to G major 7. So give it a try. Now let's look at what we can do with the C major chord with this pattern, and again, tabs on the screen there, and this is what we're going to try and do. Right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops, I made a bit of a mess up. Start that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's repeat that. And again. And again, with this one here, I used to have that same problem where my thumb would follow my third finger, and so instead of picking going back to this when I pick the high E string, it would follow, and it would play that third string, or even worse, completely screw up. So again, I'm going to tell you again, practice just the bass part over and over again. Let it get deep into your soul. Let's put the G, what we just did with the G and what we're doing with the C, let's put that together. And again, it's all on the screen there. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what we've done so far. And just that little bit. Absolutely terrific stuff. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the G chord. All right, and we're going to play this here. So just Now I recommend you play the strings with the right fingers. Certainly now as you're just starting to get into this, because I think it's really important to know that, for your fingers to know which strings they're supposed to be playing. And it's not guesswork or anything like that, especially when you're starting out. Because you don't want to be thinking, okay, it's the second string. Should I use the first finger or should I use the third finger? You know, what finger should I use? So make sure you focus on that first finger for the G, second finger for the B, third finger for the high E string. And this is another kind of repetitive practice that you could do. You could just sit like this, you don't have to play any chord, and just do this. Just that over and over again. Again, develop the muscle memory. You know, so it becomes automatic. Your fingers know exactly which string they're going to play. So you're sitting down here, you're going to do a pattern. Okay, we're going to play the G string, so I'm going to play the first finger. So I think it's a really, really good idea. So I'm not really thinking about it too much because it's kind of quite ingrained in me which strings I should be playing with which fingers. And I think that comes from like hours and hours and hours and years and decades of practice. So I do recommend making sure that you're using thumb for the bass strings, those three strings, and these three fingers, you know, like there. You know, you see them kind of nicely ready to play. Let's look at the D major chord, and after we've done this, we're going to put all the little patterns that we've just used, or we've just looked at, into a 12-bar blues progression. So this is the D major chord. So we've got, let's get this thing going again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there he goes. Right, let's try that again. Take 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're just playing this kind of thing. Right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. So with this one here, we're playing the B string and the high E string. We're not playing the G string, so your first fingers shouldn't be doing anything at all there, except relaxing, having a bit of a rest. But the thumb, that poor thumb just keeps going all the way through the song, all the way through the chord. So let's put this together, okay? What you could do right now, you could just stop, pause the video for a moment and just go back and look at the three kind of, what we did with the G chord, the C chord and the D chord. You could just have a look at that. Or you could keep stopping, or just keep it stopped and just practice the thumb part. I really do recommend, do this over and over again. Because this constant practice, is going to really help you develop and make learning patterns like this so much easier. You know, less frustration, less smashing up the guitar. Okay, so we're going to use the 12-bar blues chord progression, and after we do that, we're going to look at a couple of songs that you can try playing. So we're going to look at the 12-bar blues, and this is in G. We've got G, C, and D. And you can see on the screen we've got 4 bars of G, 2 bars of C, 2 bars of G, and then we have the really nice bit at the end, D, C, and 2 bars of G. The tab is on the screen. You know, you can pause the video, get a screenshot, and let's try this nice and slowly. What do you think? Here we go. Courage now. Let's do this. 1, 2, 3, Fa. Now, isn't that worth learning? Isn't that worth putting hours and hours of practicing for? You bet your life. If you're getting value out of this, then why not click the like and subscribe button. Thank you so much. We can also use this pattern in songs. Now, the songs that we're going to use are obviously, you're only going to be playing chords G, C and D, so simple-ish songs, right? So for example, something like Blowing in the Wind, you can play something, right? You can use this pattern. Now the thing is, when you're playing a song, you don't have to have a set pattern. Okay, it doesn't have to be anything, you know, written in concrete or set in stone. So, you know, you're kind of free to do whatever you like with these fingers, but your thumb is going to keep the rhythm, the bass, the alternating bass. All right, that's what it's going to do. That's the thumb's job, to hold it all down, hold it all together. And even if you screw up something here, try and keep the thumb going and then just come back. So for example, not like that. How many roads must a man walk down before you can call him a man? How many more seas must a white dove sail before she sleeps in the sand? So you could just fiddle about with that, you know, it doesn't need to be some perfect kind of thing. I've screwed up a few times there myself. Take another song, completely different genre. So for example, The Who's Squeeze Box. Again, you could start off just by playing the bass, get yourself together. Mama's got a squeeze box she wears on her chest. When her dad comes home, he never gets no rest because he's playing all night and the music's alright. Mama's got a squeeze box, daddy never sleeps at night. Not the best singing, but you know, it's not about the singing, it's about the pattern. And my favourite group of all time, the Beatles, one of their first songs, no, their first official single was Love Me Do, and you know, you can just do it. Love me do, you know I love you, I'll always be true, so please love me do. So you can put this pattern into action, really. You know, if you've got songs that you love that use G, C and D. I mean, there are plenty of rock and roll songs that you could do. I'm sure there's a number of folk songs that only use G, C and D. You could just play them. But whatever you do, play songs that you love. Don't just pick a song because it's only got G, C and D. Find a song that you love and really go for it. So practice, practice, practice. And if you want to play Love Me Do, I've got a video right here. It's not picking, it's just strummed the way it is. And there are also some fiddly bits included as well. So I want to give that a shot. Thanks so much for watching today, and happy picking.